Hi sweet friends, and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to take y'all through the process of my living room a refresh and then give you a tour of the update. I decided I'm going to stain my living room floors, and so I am getting ready for that. I have cleared the room. Excuse the dust, the dog hair, all the things. We're going to make a difference here. The products I'm going to use are my Orbital Sander by DeWalt. I have these hook and loop disc sandpaper. I'm going to stain the floor in Kona. This is the color that I've used throughout my home. Previously, when the last floor that I stained, it was $8.98 and now it is $9.78. I have a handful of towels that I'll be using around each door on the bottom so that the dust doesn't go into the other rooms. I will turn off the ceiling fans so that the dust isn't being distributed throughout the house. I have some craft paper here that I will use in case I need to walk across a section of the floor. I find that putting this clean craft paper down, if needed, that it doesn't mess up the stain while it's drying. I try not to cross back over the stain until it's dry. It is a 1 hour dry. I do like to let it cure for longer than that, which will be a challenge with the dog. But I think we can do it. I'm going to leave us some areas of no stain so we can walk around. And then once the other floors have cured for a while, then I can stain the areas that I leave behind. Hope that makes sense. I have some old sheets that I'm going to be draping over things just like this here. This table has all the items that I want to donate. So I don't want my things that I'm donating to be covered in dust. I have a few items over here that I'm working on organizing and decluttering. So I want to get this table covered with a cloth, my couch covered with a cloth. This room is where I have put the items that I pulled out of the living room. Some of the littler furniture that I can move around myself. And back here I have decor for Christmas, fall, and Halloween. But I want to get the floors done first before I bring any of that stuff out. Took me about 20 minutes to get this section of the room sanded. So I'm going to get it mopped so it can be dry and put a fan on it. Let it dry while I work on another section. Here's the back half of the room. So I'm going to do the front half and I'm going to do the back half. I have to have a trail to the restroom, and so that's the way I'm going to split it up. Got this area mopped so it can be drying while I stain the front part of this room. This is what I've done so far. I did need to leave a path for us to get to the restroom, and I also made it a point to stain to the next plank. I did not do that in my kitchen, and you can see where I start and stopped, and it doesn't look very nice. So this time I did try to start and stop on a plank. Hopefully that will help since I am having to do this in sections. What I've gotten done this afternoon on the back side of the living room. It is slow work. I know my back hurts. My legs are gonna hurt. I'm gonna have trouble walking tomorrow. I can almost feel it already. But it is gonna be worth it in the end. I'm on the final push to get the floors stained. As you can see, I've done quite a bit, but now I need to to do the middle part. I had a friend come by today and help me move the rest of the furniture out of the way. I've already sanded, I've already mopped, it's dry, and I'm ready to start staining. It has been about an hour and 7 minutes since the last clip y'all just saw, and I have done quite a lot of staining, and I'm going to take a short break and finish up the last section. I found these old panel boards in my neighbor's burn pile. He's redoing his home, and so I asked him if I could have these. I want to cut these down, cut this off of each of the boards, put them together, and create a top for the trunks that I use to hold my TV in the living room. We took those large panels from the 1940s, ripped the ends off of them, ripped them down on both sides, and cut them to 7-inch planks, 3 of them, for a total of 21 inches in width. You can see the difference between this one, which has been already sanded, and this one that has the original stain on it. Here is the back side, very coarse. These boards don't even look like the same ones I showed y'all in that first clip. Got it almost done, guys. We have got it glued and clamped. This is the underneath side that'll be on top of the trunk. We're gonna put some screws in it and let it dry, and then I'll be able to paint it. Part of me redoing the living room floors was me removing all the furniture from the living room. And in doing so, I emptied out these 2 trunks, which were slam full of things. And so I wanted to share with y'all some of the things that were in those trunks that I had stored. Lots of books, these big golden books that were my grandmother's, all my little telltale books, different papers, vintage books, old books, the boxes for my Mary Moos. Why I saved those, I'll never know. And just some random house decor that needs to go. More books that were my grandmother's. These old blankets that need to go in the trash. Here are some maps and various things that could be used for ephemera. This little plaque, which was not my grandparents', but it cracks me up, and I'll let y'all read that. There was some vintage, like mechanic type items, boxes that I saved from the neighbor's home. I want to clean these up, and I have a shelf on top of a bookshelf where I have saved my uncle's popular mechanic magazines from when they were young, and I want to put these items up there in that little collection. And I just want to go through this and see what we can keep, what is not worth keeping, what can be donated, and what is not worth donating. I have just completed going through all the items that I had here on the table from the 2 trunks, and I thought I would just share with you what I'm keeping and what is going away. So all these items to me are kind of man things, and so I'm going to put them up on the top shelf where I have the vintage popular mechanic books. These few items I will donate. This little girl, she is broken, but I do remember her being on the roll top desk there in the entryway into my grandmother's home. So I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do with her. My grandmother was a Bible school teacher for the adults, and here is some of her things. that she used as illustrations for Sunday school. A book from a church that we visited in St. Augustine, Texas. I want to keep this, The Girl in Your Mirror, or That Girl in Your Mirror by Vonda K. Van Dyke. I want to keep that. Here's just the stack of books that were mine from when I was a kid. Some items that I found that could be used for ephemera from craft projects and that, so I have those stacked up. I do like Texas history, so here are some books that are Texas themed, so I will keep those. I have a large pile of items that I am gifting to someone, and then this stack of books which go in my Disney room. And I do have a large trash bag full of trash. Recently challenged myself to a 100 item declutter, and I have far and exceeded my goal. I have 143 items here on this table set to go to the thrift store. I have items that I am gifting. I have items that I have thrown away. Those are just some of the things. I have trash bag after trash bag of things that I have thrown that I didn't even count. But I thought I would just share with y'all some of the items that I am choosing to declutter. So I have books, miscellaneous home decor. Some items are vintage, some items are not so vintage, but all of these items are set to go to the thrift store. I did declutter to my closet. There is a stack of church dresses there, a little bit of craft supplies, miscellaneous items, my large sewing box, and these cute little Christmas angels. They were part of a Christmas, well, it was actually the punch bowl was full of Christmas ornaments, and I picked out the ones I wanted, and I will donate the rest of those. When I set out to do a declutter, I do set up a folding table and began to put items on that. It is a place to set things. I can see what I'm decluttering. I can keep a count, which keeps me motivated to keep finding items, and this system works really nice. Part of my living room makeover, I do want to paint these trunks. I have 2 of them. I want to paint them white using this Waverly white chalk paint, and then I will wax them either with the clear wax or white wax. I do have a old bowl that I will pour some of the chalk paint in just to make it easier to put paint on my brushes. I have my painting clothes stored in this like a Ziploc bag, keeps them stored nicely. And I even have a pair of shoes in there because inevitably I will drip paint on my shoe and I don't want to ruin another pair of shoes. So I have that. And then 2 of the Dollar Tree products that I use are these chip brushes from the Dollar Tree and these Scrub Buddy latex gloves. Those 2 products I use anytime I'm going to be doing any type of painting or staining. In the gloves, I do not believe that I showed those when I did my staining video where I showed you the products I was going to be using for the living room stain, but I did wear those latex gloves while I was staining the floor. I have now been working on getting these trunks painted white, and you can see here that I was having a lot of bleed through and things were just not working out the way I originally had planned, just to use the Waverly chalk paint. So I got out my Kills and used that. I did 2 coats with Kills, hoping that would work on the bleed through, and you see here it did not help. So then I went back and I got my can of polyacrylic, and so I have sealed this now with polyacrylic. It has dried. I also realized very quickly that I was not going to have enough of the Waverly chalk paint, So I went out to my garage and I got this Sherwin-Williams semi-gloss. It is in the color Snowbound, which is what I've used throughout my home to do my trim. And I made my own chalk paint using this calcium carbonate. There are many recipes out there that you can Google to make your own chalk paint. I just poured some of the Sherwin-Williams paint into this container up to about that high and added a tablespoon and mixed it really well. And this is what I have. I really think that polyacrylic did a great job blocking in those stains, and I am pretty pleased with how this is coming out. Today I am here in my YouTube filming room, and there are some updates in here that I want to make that are going to correspond with some things that are going on in the living room. And I just thought I would show y'all what the room looks like now, and then I will come back in here after I make a few changes and show y'all the results. So there's not going to be pretty subtle changes in here. This rug, this like a jute braided rug, I want to put into the living room. I have a gray rug I want to bring in here. In the blueprints for this house, this room shows to be a sun porch. Apparently my grandparents decided to close it in, and so I have just honored that by making this kind of a porch feel. And so I'll just show y'all some of the things that I have decorated with. I love these type pictures, these, I don't know if that's embroidery or what you call that, but I absolutely love it. We have some wall art that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. Here is a macrame. The floor lamp here I picked up at Dirt Cheap. Just a small couch here. Some more decor over here. Half is vintage, some I've picked up at Hobby Lobby. So I want to get that dusted and see if there's some updates I want to make right there. Here is where I sit, and the little tables where I have all the items that I show y'all, in my ring light. When I'm filming in my bedroom, I have this large box light. I actually have 2 of these. My daughter bought me those, and my youngest daughter bought me the ring light, and my oldest daughter bought me the large box light. I have this embroidery needlepoint, I'm not sure, picture that I picked up at the SPCA thrift store. It is a really pretty, I believe that may be needlepoint. I don't know to tell the difference, but I absolutely love it. Coming around here, I did move this cabinet from the craft room and place it in here. So I want to get it decorated with some decor. Here is the updated YouTube room. I did put the rug. If you are a friend of the channel for any time, you may remember this rug being in my bedroom. Brought it in here to the YouTube room, and I'll just show you around. I did a lot of dusting and vacuuming. I updated this little shelf. I did get the shelf at the thrift store, and I added that little raccoon embroidery piece. I wanted to keep with like the little vintage feel, kind of a summer porch feel. And so I took down, I had a Hobby Lobby piece up there and a Madonna up there, but I changed those out. And then coming around over here is the shelf, and I added some more vintage items over here These items were just located throughout my house, and I just wanted to bring them all together. And I don't want to put too many things on here because I want to be able to thrift and find more vintage items to put on the shelf. This is the bookshelf here in my living room, and I have gotten everything wiped down and dusted from the sanding of the living room floors. Now I want to unload it onto my folding table and get everything redecorated. I have gotten everything off of the shelves here in the living room, and now I want to use these various items to decorate. Here are my living room shelves restyled. I did intentionally leave some areas open. I'm sure there is more decor in other places that I want to bring in here, or I can use those open spaces for Christmas or holiday decor. Today I hung my magnolia picture here in my living room. However, it is too low, and so I need to rehang it. I need to come up about 8 inches, and while I'm at it, I have some nails up there that need to be taken down, and I will touch those up. This picture is extremely heavy, so I did bring out my little folding table. I will balance that on the folding table until I get the nail, or actually till I get the screw put in place, and then I will lift it. The walls in here in my living room, or most of the house, are Colonnade Gray by Sherwin-Williams, and I have that out so I can do some touch-ups on those nail holes. I will just be using a little paintbrush to do that touch-up, and I am using these 2-inch nails to get that picture hung up. And I will, at the time that I move it, go ahead and patch that hole where the screw is right now and raise it up 8 inches. I believe that's going to be a good height. As you can see on this wall, I am not scared to hang things and change my mind and move them around. So there's a lot of little holes that need touch up. Here are my touch ups and my new screw in the wall. Super simple, super quick, and just keeps the wall looking good. Here's another one of my living room walls that just needed a ton of touch up. So got that knocked out. Probably took 5 minutes. I've done some rearranging here in my entryway, so now my pictures are askew. So I need to get them measured out and recentered on this wall. And see if there's any holes here that need a little touch up. We will start the living room tour here in my entryway. I have it decorated in Jesus themed items. I need Jesus coming and going, and so I have decorated it with scriptures, with crosses. I have a cross stitch that I picked up at a yard sale several years ago. May our house be warm and our friends be many. Above the coat closet, I have some more crosses and another scripture. Top of this large armoire, which was originally wood, and I painted it. So on the top here, I have some pothos growing in a jug. I used my Cricut to write the words grow. Some various candles. The main thing I have here is a Madonna and a wooden cross. Coming around the armoire, I have a picture of my mother. I have her facing the couch so that I can see her there while I'm relaxing. Here on the back side of the armoire, I have some Western themed items there, and I have this sign that I picked up at Dirt Cheap that is from Target. It says, "Stay curious." This corner of the room has a chair that was my grandmother's. It actually has a match. It is not in the best shape, and I really am leaning towards painting it. I need to do some research and find out how to do that exactly. And then the little side table was also my grandmother's, and I painted it white. Here's my decor in that area. And as you come in the front door, you see the words hello. Here's a deer mount that was my father's. Here is a view of the main living area. Here in the front, I have a oval braided rug. I did pick that up at dirt cheap, however, it is from Target. I have the dog's brand new bed there for him. Previous clip, y'all saw me rehanging this beautiful magnolia picture. I have a large bank of windows here. That is 3 windows, so lots of curtains right there. Those curtains are Threshold. I've showed them to y'all in many of my dirt cheap videos. They're by Threshold. I picked them up at dirt cheap. Here is my couch. This couch was mangy, and I was able to find a couch cover for it, and I was super excited. I got it put on yesterday. I'm loving it for $75, and it's probably the best $75 I spent in quite a while. Super excited for that. It really changes the whole tone of this room, and I didn't have to go buy a new couch, just $75 for the cover. I have a old sewing machine there for an end table, and a stand-up lamp that I picked up at dirt cheap. It was previously in my YouTube filming room. Here are my shelves, and I will show y'all a closer look of those shelves. I will go through each of the shelves. Here on the top is my mother's sewing machine from when she was a little girl. A collection of childcraft books that were my grandmother's, and she would share those with us when we were kids. We would read those and look through those. Some wooden boxes. I love wooden boxes. Those have different family items in them. The little angel, I don't know if they're vases or what, but those were my grandmother's. And just some magnolia that I picked up. Some insulators there, and some books. Those are little pamphlet type books that I picked up at a thrift store. Down here is just my girls' shelf. Some various books that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and they are just different women, and I like that. And then that pink book is a Van Dyke, and that's cute. The little girl there you see, my mother played the piano. We had a grand piano in my house, growing up, and her name is Priscilla, and she always sat on the grand piano. So that is Priscilla. And then the 2 little jewelry boxes you see there, they are musical. The bigger one was my great Aunt Rose's, and the one there in the front I picked up recently at a farmer's market type thing. So there's that. A little Texas sign I got many years ago at like a farmer's market. Here are some, they're not encyclopedias, they're different themed books. Those were my mother's brothers. Here is a bowl full of shells and a few horns. In the back is just a pretty cool glass pitcher. And if you see that, the color behind there, that is actually like construction paper that somebody tore up and put behind there to make it like a scene. It's kind of cool. Don't mess with Texas. I picked that up at JCPenney's or Pally Royal. Some more goodies here. This shelf has Texas things on it. Take the glare out of it. There's that. And then a lot of these books were my grandmother's. Really cool. A brass bowl with some more insulators in there. This picture back here is my dad's siblings and his parents. You see his mother there in the middle, and he is second from the end with the glasses on. That's my dad. Wish I could get it a little better picture. I love that picture of them. Here is a radio that was my granddad's. And then below that is 2 books. The one book is called Manners Can Be Fun. And if you didn't act right with manners and you were at my grandmother's house, you probably read that book. Manners Can Be Fun. And the other book is How to Behave and Why, and I actually found that at a thrift store one year. And so it goes with that Manners Can Be Fun book. So there's that. The last set of shelves here, this one up here is kind of a man shelf. Those Poplar Mechanic books, those were my mother's brothers. My dad's diplomas up there, and some other just miscellaneous items. Coming down, the solid black dog I picked up at a thrift store. The other 2 belonged to my mother when she was a young girl. Here are just some various golden books. Most of those are vintage. Well, they're all different ages of books. The little gold clock was my grandmother's. It sat on her nightstand. She would wind it up every night. Here's some more just cool books. There are presidential books, another wooden box. And then the last shelf is just some miscellaneous items. I love the glass coasters. A few items there. The iron was my neighbor's. And then these 2 things. One of them, the front one was a little horse-haired brush, and the back one is actually a water hose sprinkler. The newly revamped television stand. It is actually 2 army trunks that I painted. Y'all saw me going through that painting process with the top tray that we created out of some old paneling to extend the length for the TV. I just love that. That is one of my favorite items that I did here in the living room. The floors are my other favorite of the room redo. I did stain them in the color Kona, and then after they dried, I did come back and lightly sand them and distress them. And I love the way that they turned out. If you have enjoyed this living room refresh, please give my video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of my friends here on YouTube. And I will see each of you in my next video. Bye, guys.